When was the last time you and your spouse intentionally paused your busy schedules, set aside distractions, held hands, and sincerely prayed together, inviting God into the center of your marriage instead of leaving Him at the edges of your daily routine? Many Christian couples love God deeply, attend church faithfully, and believe strongly in biblical principles, yet shared prayer quietly fades as responsibilities increase and life becomes louder, fuller, and more demanding than they expected. In the early days of your relationship, prayer may have felt natural, consistent, and necessary, shaping your decisions and strengthening your unity as you planned your future together with hope and expectation. You likely prayed about your wedding, your finances, your dreams, and your uncertainties, believing that inviting God into every step would guarantee direction, protection, and lasting peace within your home.
But over time, schedules expanded, pressures multiplied, and private devotion replaced shared moments, slowly shifting prayer from a united act of agreement to an individual spiritual routine. A marriage can survive without praying together for a season, but survival is not the same as spiritual strength, and endurance alone does not produce deep unity or lasting resilience. Prayer is more than a religious habit performed out of obligation. It is spiritual alignment that reconnects hearts, softens pride, and restores perspective when emotions become overwhelming. When a husband and wife kneel together before God, tension loses intensity, misunderstandings shrink in importance, and humility begins to replace defensiveness in powerful, transformative ways. It is extremely difficult to remain bitter towards someone you are sincerely praying beside, because shared prayer reminds you that your spouse is your partner, not your opponent. The spiritual atmosphere of a home changes when prayer becomes consistent, intentional, and united, creating peace that cannot be manufactured by good communication skills alone.
The enemy does not fear public displays of affection or curated images of happiness, but he recognizes the strength of a couple that consistently seeks God together in private. Many marriages struggle not because love has disappeared, but because spiritual unity has weakened, leaving couples emotionally connected yet spiritually distant in subtle and dangerous ways. Marriage is not only emotional companionship or physical partnership, it is a spiritual covenant that requires spiritual maintenance to remain vibrant and protected. Surface arguments about finances, tone of voice, or unmet expectations often mask deeper issues of disconnection that can only be healed through shared humility before God. Prayer restores connection by shifting focus away from personal grievances and redirecting attention toward grace, forgiveness, and divine guidance for both partners. When couples pray together consistently, they begin to see each other through compassion rather than frustration, remembering the covenant that binds them beyond temporary disagreements. Instead of fighting against each other, prayer encourages couples to unite against challenges, creating a powerful partnership that confronts problems together rather than separately. Admittedly, restarting shared prayer after a long pause may feel uncomfortable, awkward, or unfamiliar, especially if spiritual confidence levels differ between spouses. However, prayer is not a performance requiring eloquent words or theological depth. It is an honest conversation with God that values sincerity over perfection. Even a brief moment of genuine agreement in prayer can recalibrate emotions, reduce tension, and invite peace into a space previously dominated by stress.
Beginning your week by holding hands and asking for wisdom, patience, and protection can establish a spiritual tone that influences every interaction that follows. Storms will inevitably come in the form of financial strain, health challenges, external pressure, or internal misunderstanding, but prepared couples respond differently than unprepared ones. Couples who kneel together build resilience before crisis arrives, strengthening their foundation so that unexpected trials do not easily shake their unity. When children observe their parents praying together, they learn that marriage is sacred, dependent on God, and sustained by something greater than emotion alone. Your private commitment to shared prayer becomes a visible testimony that shapes your family's spiritual culture and leaves a legacy of faith for generations.
Stability without spiritual depth may appear strong temporarily, yet without prayer, the foundation can gradually weaken beneath the surface without immediate warning signs. Waiting until serious conflict develops before restoring shared prayer can make healing more difficult than simply maintaining consistent spiritual unity from the beginning. Turning off distractions, setting aside pride, and choosing to kneel together again can reignite spiritual intimacy that strengthens emotional and relational closeness. The family that prays together does not avoid hardship entirely, but they face it with shared confidence, quicker forgiveness, and deeper trust in God's direction. So ask yourself honestly whether prayer still leads your home, and if it does not, consider beginning again today, because couples who kneel together truly stand strong.
If this message resonated with your heart, do not let it end here. Take one intentional step today. Speak to your spouse, set a time, and begin praying together again. Transformation in marriage does not begin with grand gestures. It begins with consistent spiritual decisions. If you believe in building a God-centered home, subscribe to Timeless Heavenly Lessons. Share this message with another couple and become part of a community committed to strengthening Christian marriages through biblical truth. Your home deserves spiritual leadership. Start with prayer. Start together. Start today.